Is scrambling for a unified response to Donald Trump's tariffs. The continent's trade ministers have met in Luxembourg to chart a possible way forward. Deutsche Welle correspondent Thomas Sparrow joins us now from Berlin. Thomas, g'day. So how unified is Europe when it comes to dealing with this difficult economic situation?
The European Union certainly wants to present a unified response, but as is in the case with any crisis, there are differing opinions among EU members. So whereas some would certainly like a strong response coming from the European Union, other member states have actually suggested that a better way forward would be a more measured tone towards the United States. And there are even countries like Italy that have questioned whether a response should be altogether basically also imposing tariffs on the United States. So you can see that there's a variety of opinions there coming from European Union leaders. But the main dilemma, the main challenge that European Union leaders are facing is that on the one hand, they certainly do want to present a unified response. They definitely believe that it is in Europe's best interest to still defend free trade. It's also a base of the European economy. But at the same time, they are very much aware that imposing any counter tariffs could be actually a shot in the foot. It could actually be a problem for the European Union economy. So that is exactly the balance that European Union leaders are trying to strike when it comes to responding to the United States.
And so how could this affect major European economies like Germany?
Well, Germany is Europe's powerhouse. That's the way it's been described. And already political leaders here have stressed that obviously there will be an impact on Germany's economy. Germany's finance minister stressed, for instance, that exports towards the United States could fall by about 15%. And for Germany, as an exporting economy, this is certainly a very difficult time. Germany had a recession in the past 2 years. If a recession is confirmed this year, it will be the first time in post-war history that Germany has 3 consecutive years with a recession. And it's not only about the economy, it's also about a political response and how all this could affect Germany politically, because Germany's foreign policy has been to a large extent very closely linked to cooperating with the United States. And these latest measures, these latest tariffs are showing obviously very different views when it comes to how the US and Germany and Europe, for that matter, are going to be focusing on international relations.
And Germany has announced historic investments in infrastructure and defence recently. Could these be in danger if the economic situation worsens?
Indirectly, but that essentially depends, on the one hand, on how the current economic situation develops, on the other hand, also on what Germany's incoming government decides specifically when it comes to those investments. But what does seem very important, there does seem to be a consensus here in Germany that Germany needs a strong voice in Europe and beyond, and not the current voice of a caretaker government. The current parties that are striking a coalition agreement, that they're hoping to strike a coalition agreement, are in the last stages, and it is expected that in the next few weeks a new government will be in place, and undoubtedly that new government will have to face the challenge of not only economically responding to the United States, but also politically responding to the United States. Experts here are stressing that that will be very likely the first major challenge that the incoming government will face. And by the way, that's a challenge that will not only be short-term, but also medium to long-term as well.
Okay, Thomas Sparrow there in Berlin. Now,